Are you a mother? A mother who your heart bleeds for your children. Not just any kind of child, but your adult children. Those children that you birthed, those children that you cared for, those children that you wiped their tears, you wiped their butt, and now in this season of your life, you feel like they have forgotten about you. Well, let me tell you, in this episode, you are going to learn how to stand not just as a mother, but as a woman. We can't change the past. We can only move forward in the future. And this season, this episode is going to give you the tools that you need to shift the trajectory of your legacy. Are you ready, warrior woman? Matter of fact, are you ready, warrior mother? Because God did not forget your labor that you did in love, and He's not going to forget the labor you're doing in the spirit. Let this season and this episode bless you like never before.
Who am I as the woman? I am radical, relentless, and real because I am on a mission to heal the souls of God's people. I am a spiritual leader, a life coach, and an author. But most of all, I am a warrior fighting for my legacy. I face so many challenges, shares of betrayal, rejection, abandonment, all that left me wounded mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Yes, life left me broke, busted and disgusted. But despite all those odds, divorces, emotional damage, as well as despair, I did the work to heal my soul so that I may birth forth miracles and live prosperously. I am not new here. I grew here, and now is your time to grow. I am Dr. Dunamis D, and I am here to guide you on your journey of healing and transformation.
Well, it is time for another powerful Healing for My Soul podcast. And if you are listening to this and you are not only a woman, but a mother of adult children, that you are carrying in your heart some of their pain, some of their life right now that they are going through, then this is the episode for you. Because, we are really talking about healing the wounds of adult children.
My question is, what is an adult child?
Me, 35, thinking I'm grown.
But you're still arrested.
But I'm still arrested.
Okay.
And well, this ain't me. Well, it could be. But I'm still arrested. And that little girl or that little boy that has not matured because maybe I have been coddled in some areas, or maybe I'm carrying some pain, or maybe I'm carrying some frustration. Now I'm inflicting upon you as my mother because now I want you to feel my pain, and because you love me so much, and because you have done a lot for me, you done bathed me, you done changed my diaper, you take all of my hits. And it's hurting you as a mother. It's hurting you in your heart. It's hurting you in your mind because your heart bleeds for your children. Now, that ain't you.
I'm about to say, I'm going to have to go strictly clinical on this. Maybe a little bit biblical, because naturally, spiritually, I can go there. But
yes,
naturally, I can't comprehend. But I'm going to be with y'all.
Yes. But I think you comprehend a little bit.
You think
just
so?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll probably get to dynamics.
Let's go
but
there. Okay, tell me.
I think that there is, I know that there's a lot of women and dunamis women who come because they're carrying not wounds of a man, not wounds of a marriage, not wounds of themselves, but they're carrying the wounds of their children.
Most definitely.
And so
adult children, teenage children.
But particularly adults, because teenagers still in your home. Adult children are gone. They don't even want to call you. They don't want to check on you. They don't want to pick up the phone. They don't want to do a lot of different things. Hey, think about my daddy.
That's why I say you, not with me. Okay. Go ahead.
But truly, your child has not only just moved on to like myself. I moved on to really build a life for myself in some areas, so I'm not always accessible. But there are some children who are truly inflicting that pain purposely on their mother because they know what it's doing.
I think what I'm saying? But Ariel, we're gonna go there. We're gonna find our way in this, okay?
It's like double dutch.
Yeah. Because it goes both ways.
It does.
It goes both ways, because even I can only speak from a personal standpoint, being a mother, and also a personal standpoint understanding and or knowing the aspects of the dynamics with you and your father as you being an adult child. For me, you know, I want you to go. I want you to thrive. You don't call me in 2 or 3 days. Thank you, Lord. If you don't call me in 3 months, hallelujah. Because it's not the fact that I don't want you to call. It's not because you can't call. First of all, I understand that you're out there building your life. I understand there's things in process that you have to go through. And I do understand whether the timing is 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 months, that you're coming to me because of some wisdom that you need, because I have taken the time to lay a foundation by not giving you everything you wanted. I said that on one of the episodes, that a lot of people just look at that real. Okay. On the flip side of the coin, from a paternal aspect, you know, you're not giving that because you do not come in 3 months. You do not call all the time. And they yearn for you because they're still living with some regret.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? I have no regrets. So when you're looking for something because you have regrets as the parent, then that's something that your wounds is steadily trying to inflict wounds upon the adult child.
Correct.
But then on the flip side of the coin, you know that you got some wounds based upon being his adult child that keep on saying, I ain't gonna call you because you messing with my wounds.
True.
Okay.
True. But
So-
I mean, I think there's so many, like
but
you said,
there's-
there's 2 angles to go from this. I think you can go from the angle of the parent who is carrying wounds, and like you said, they have a lot of regrets.
Yes.
And then we also have the parent who may be listening to this, like I said, or the woman or the mother that has been on a healing journey, and they don't really know the direction to take.
And they
You
don't.
know what I'm saying?
However, in all that I said previously, the common denominator is the warrior woman.
Okay.
Because regardless of me understanding or knowing some dynamics, and I'm just thinking from the parental side versus the maternal side, I still have to stand as the warrior woman to say, Ariel, that's still your father. You understand? Which is why y'all saw the episode season 2 or whatever. So we're not going to go back there. Yet, the foundation, that's all I'm saying, is that regardless of what we're dealing with, whether it's me being the adult child, still wanting something from my mother, as you're going to see some in the episodes to come, or rather it's your child as an adult child, still wanting something from your mother, what we're still dealing with sometimes is arrestations. We're arrested in areas of our development that we did not get properly fed. And so as I tell the plethora of women that are in Dunamis Women, particularly those who are my spiritual daughters, what you did in the younger former years was overcompensated. Your pain caused you to overcompensate, to give them, to buy them, to do for them, to think of yourself second fiddle, third fiddle, and make them happy.
Yeah.
And as adult children, now they're taking some stuff out on you that you did not give them, which is some maybe nurture, some love, some discipline, some structure. You see what I'm saying? And that's the nature what all of us need.
Yeah. And you said that before recently to a particular woman. I think we were on like a Q&A or something. And she's been on her healing journey. And you said to her, you said, you know, if he were to come back into your son were to come back into your life right now, you wouldn't even be ready because you would overcompensate and you would still give and give and give. And I want you to speak about that because, you know, some women's hearts are bleeding because they're on a healing journey and they want to reconnect. And I'm going to get to another type of mother, but they want to reconnect. And you told her, you said, if that was to happen, you wouldn't be ready. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember.
So speak to that. Because I do think that sometimes we're in such a place of, I don't know if it's desperation.
Well, it goes back to something that I said on one of our previous podcasts is that I didn't birth you to please you. And if I don't please you, it's inevitable you're going to get pissed. But you have to be okay with it because that's part of my foundation. So with what you're speaking about, she was overcompensating and giving him so much So now that he doesn't give the phone calls as an adult child, he did decide to go on with his life. And I'm not really thinking about you, Ma. She still feels that she's entitled. Does that make sense? Because in the back of your mind or in your subconscious area, you're still believing that somebody owe you something. So even as I said on the previous podcast, you can't betray me, Ariel, because I didn't betray myself. I did not give you everything that you all wanted, that even if you don't call me right now, I'm okay with that because I have an assurance that I did all that I knew to do by putting demands on your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I know as adult children, now you and Allison, y'all kind of cuckoo in your own way, and that's okay. Therapy is good for people. But I do know if I was to depart this earth, and even how I raised you all is to, whenever I leave here, you can still know how to thrive. You know how to think. You know how to take responsibility. You know how to not look to somebody to have to owe you something, or you don't have to get into the arms of a man to say, pay my bills, or let me manipulate, or let me do this. I kind of like probably created some monsters in a sense, because that's why it's so difficult for you all to be loved, because you all not acting like little girls looking for somebody to baby you or take care of you or pacify you or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So what we have a tendency to do from a mother's perspective, because we have wounds ourselves as women, we overcompensate. I even tell Allison, stop overcompensating for her father not being around. Because now you're buying her too many fast foods, you're buying too much stuff, because subconsciously and unknowingly you're overcompensating for the decisions of who you laid with, who you chose at that time. And there's a beautiful life came out of that. Accept that and give her what she needs, the structure, the discipline, the demands. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy to hear no.
Yeah. And okay, so now
they telling you no.
That is true. And I want to now speak to, because I said earlier when we opened up, I said, you know, in some cases you do have wounds of an adult children, but not so much wounds because you're in pity, but I believe wounds that come to your heart. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think as a warrior woman, I'm saying there's some mothers who they're carrying wounds because they see the enemy after their children. They see the attacks that is coming up against their children. So it may not even be, okay, my children's not talking to me, but they see their children going through a process, and they don't know how to stand as a warrior woman with the wounds that they're feeling because of their child. And I'll say, I think you do a great job that when you see things coming up against Allison or myself from a spiritual standpoint, you know how to respond. But some women on their healing journey don't know how to respond. So the wounds just hit them and hit them and hit them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and as we were talking about on one of our other episodes, I know the art of spiritual warfare.
Right.
Something, I mean, even as I stated when we was at the Reset Retreat, you know, we had a worship experience, and we were singing that song, I sought the Lord, and he heard and he answered. And I began to speak to you and Allison in the midst of that experience and let you know that it was because of you I learned how to sought the Lord. I learned how to seek the Lord. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't seek the Lord because I was on a pew. I sought the Lord because I did not know what to do in the minute and the moment of those spiritual attacks.
Yeah.
I had to seek the Lord, not because you were out with Joe and she was out with John, but because of the paternal. Does that make sense? I had to seek the Lord because at the end of the day, you're the one that caused this sperm to meet this egg out of all the Negroes that I screwed. See, that's how a warrior woman think.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I ain't trying to act like, oh, I'm married now and I got married and I got pregnant or whatever. Out of all the ones. And see, I know my alls. You know what I'm saying? You chose this one that now I have to find you. I got to seek the Lord. So I think we don't understand how to seek the Lord. And he heard and he answered, but it's because of my children.
Yeah.
Not when you was an adult, but when you were babies, when you were in my womb. So for me, I know the art of spiritual warfare, that even in your adult years, teenage years, I'm not going to say, I'm just counting sit up there reading a book if I don't hear from you in 3 months, which if that's your choice, that's fine. But no matter what's going on, I'm tapped into the spirit realm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm as long as breath is in my body, spiritual warfare is going to be happening.
Yeah.
Because demons don't die. Spirits don't stop.
Yeah.
I need y'all to put that in the comment section. Demons don't die and spirits don't stop. So I don't have time to get in my feelings. And I think that's where a lot of these mothers are in their feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because, he didn't call me, or he don't let me see my grandchildren. Hell, I ain't seen Christina in a month damn near. And she right there. You see what I'm saying? So you're trying to even not only overcompensate for what you didn't do with them by doing it with the grands, and you get so much in your feelings.
Yeah.
Hey, so are you liking this episode? Matter of fact, are you loving this episode? If so, then we want you to tell us. I need you to like this episode right now. I need you to drop a comment and tell us what you are enjoying about this episode. But most importantly, I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? Do not miss a beat of what's happening in the Healing for My Soul podcast. So you know what to do. Like so we know that you love it. Comment down below and tell us what you love about it, and then subscribe so you're never missing the episode that you truly cannot live without. Now, let's get back to your episode.
But I've seen that, and that's why I'm bringing it to the forefront, because I've seen women, it's particularly at that retreat, who came in their feelings, and you had to, because they didn't, maybe the things that you're saying now, they didn't know when their children were 5 and 6. And so now you're teaching them how to stand as the warrior.
I'm shifting their minds.
Shifting their minds.
I'm shifting their minds. I can recall, and you probably remember this, but see, it blows my mind. But, we have we do a lot of giving. We do a lot of engaging with the women who come. So on our Q&A call, I give them room to ask me, regardless what questions they're dealing with or life matters. But she ended up asking me about her son, a grown adult child, who now still lives with her mother, adult man. I ain't gonna say adult child, adult man. Y'all get this. Living with his grandmother. But then that's her heart bleeding. But something went on in the dynamics that caused that. Does that make sense?
Correct.
But then she gonna come and say, what she didn't say a while back is, he got in an accident. He don't have a car, but the car that he was driving, she bought it. Adult man. Did I buy your car?
Nope.
So now you're setting him up, because a lot of women attract what he think is an adult man, but it's still a little boy. Because mama buying cars, grandmama housing. Does that make sense? And then you wonder why things ain't going the way that it should go, because you haven't laid a foundation. A man, even the word of God said, a man who don't work, don't eat, much less drive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can see if she gave him some food, but you're an adult man. So the foundation is very key, because that whoever he ended up being with as a woman, which would not be with his mother, she thinks she's inheriting a man.
Yeah.
Maybe because his penis may be 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches. I don't know. But at the end of the day, deep down within, she has an arrested little boy. And this is why you see so many women out here doing for men, because they're dealing with some mother's adult child who's still stagnated and arrested, because that's what we dealt with. Does that make sense? That's the foundation that we laid.
Yeah.
And so now this is why healing is so important, because you don't even know who you got.
Yeah. And I also believe that sometimes, as mothers, from what I hear, I'm not a mother, but from what I hear of other mothers, they're carrying wounds, I think you said earlier, out of their regrets, because they didn't know how to be a mother. And so certain things, certain decisions they probably made early on, whether it was giving up the child, or whether it was, saying, hey, go live with your grandma, because I don't know how to raise you. So now their wounds are not even the wounds that the children are inflicting upon them. It's just wounds they're inflicting upon themselves.
But we all have wounds.
Yeah.
Everybody has their story. And I don't think, if you had a child or you birthed a child and they gave you a handbook, call me. I want to see it. The only book that I know is following the principles. I didn't say the scriptures, the principles that's filled within the scripture. Spare the child, spoil the rod. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Just because I got a rod don't mean I got to beat you. That ain't what a rod is referring to. Does that make sense? I ain't got to lynch you. You know what I'm saying? My rod can be my discipline. My rod is, Ma, can I have this lace front wig? And I'm 13 years old. And my answer is,
no.
That's my rod.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why am I paying $300
And not no with a reason. It's just no.
Why? See, I don't compute that. So now when that 13-year-old bougie heifer gets to be 23, 24, she expecting a man or somebody to give her everything she wants. And if you stop doing it, mother, she's going to be upset with you. I'm not calling you no more. I'm not talking to you no more. I'm just using this as an example. Now your feelings is hurt, but you missed the part that what you did at 13 can go all the way to 33. What you did at 13 can transcend all the way to 43.
Yeah.
And now when you can't pay her rent, now when you don't buy her a car, now when she got 3 kids and she needs some help, does that make sense? It's that 13-year-old no that's causing you wounds from your adult children.
Yeah.
Now, can we go back? No. But at the end of the day, can I heal myself? Yes. Can I allow them to not like me for a minute? It's okay. It's okay. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of them think they end up better than you anyway. That just goes with the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the beast, where many of them think that you are. A lot of adult children grow up particularly unhealed, and particularly daughters thinking they're better than you.
Yeah.
Now you could take that to the bank, and if you can cash it, give me a 25-cent cash out.
Now, and let me just say, I'm trying to, because there's so many women and mothers that are out here with different dynamics. Because like you said, it's not just one size fits all, right? And so if you believe that one of these are speaking to you, just put in the comments, speaking to me, because I'm going off of a lot of stories and experiences that I've seen and women that I've seen you kind of coach their processes. And I want to kind of allude to this last wound that I believe that, women are carrying or mothers are carrying based upon their adult children, because sometimes we as children get older and we're not dealing with the things that you have done as a mother. We're dealing with some of the wounds that have been inflicted upon us by our paternal. Maybe not having the paternal, maybe having the paternal and seeing some things. And now we're navigating our life, and you, as I'm just using, for example, as mother, thought that you can cover it all. Thought that as a mother, I can cover I could cover you in the pain of not having your father. I could cover you in the pain of you maybe seeing some things of your father. But now as we get older, we're navigating life in our own identity, and our identity comes from our blood. So I want you to speak to that, because sometimes you coach women and you're talking about how, especially when you say however many different baby daddies you had, right? God chose you. God chose you. And those are different paternals that you're dealing with. And I think that sometimes mothers believe that their love covers all. And love is powerful, but it doesn't cover sometimes the battles of what we're dealing with from a paternal standpoint. And so I want you to just speak to that, because sometimes those wounds are being inflicted, and many mothers are naive that some of that pain that their children are carrying is pain from the paternal.
Let me just say this based upon all that you said.
I know I said
My
a lot.
God.
And we only got a couple minutes left. But
I know. Jesus Christ. And then you want to tell me time up, right? You're a warrior woman, whether you realize it or not. Regardless of how many children you birthed, regardless of how many fathers you have, everyone has their assignment. I need y'all to put in their assignment. So if I'm assigned, because y'all got the same daddy about to fall. That was God's setup. Does that make sense?
That's okay. You don't need more than one.
That
one come with a lot.
But at the end of the day, your assignment is because of who you are, and that there's something seen in you that you don't see yourself. God sees the warrior in you that you don't see yourself. So if you have 3, 4, 1, 2, or 8 paternals, father of your children, they're all stemming back to one. One man don't carry one attribute. Mm-hmm. If I put one woman right here and I put 5 fathers that she have birthed their children, she gonna see a little bit. If she knew her father, a little bit that's like my daddy, a little bit of that's like my daddy, a little bit of that like my daddy, a little bit of that like my daddy, and a little bit of that like my daddy. He just took 5 to make one. As opposed to you all, I have 1, but it's 10 niggas up in there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
10 a whole lot of stuff. 100 a lot of stuff. One body don't make you better or different. 5 don't make you less than. It just means you're a warrior woman. And it ain't about the children. It's about what's in the blood. What's in that you have the power and the authority to war, to break it off of all of those. Although I have one father of both of you all, it's still 100 demonic forces. That's why he chose me. Does that make sense?
Correct.
So you all have to understand, everybody have to understand, we all have wounds from our adult children. It's not the wounds, it's how you handle it based upon who came out of your womb, W-O-M-B. That's my seek. Who did I birth? Not what did I birth? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I could look at you and be like, what? I know you ain't did that. What? Instead of getting focused on the what, I'd be like, who? You're radical. You're crazy. You get it honestly. Because when I look at you, guess who I'm looking at?
Yourself.
Myself. I'm radical. I'm crazy. Just have enough sense you don't put that on me. Because I don't care how old you get, I'm still older. I don't care how healed you and Allison get, I'm still pursuing my healing. See, where we missed the mark is that we never pursued our healing as mothers. Does that make sense? So when I started pursuing my own healing, that means looking at myself, seeing myself, coming out of the trenches of everything. Church, religion, marriage, family. Oh my God, I had to discover me. And you all was about 2 and 4 at that time. So now I got 30 something years of my journey that I'm bringing you along, but don't ever think you'll walk side by side on my journey. So even in a part of your journey, healing the wounds of adult children, mothers, you're on your journey. And if your healing process makes you to say, you know what, I ain't talking to my mama, forget her. That's a part of your journey. All I gotta do is stay on my journey. Does that make sense? And so after 6 months, 9 months, maybe 3 years, 2 Negroes, another baby, doing whatever you got to do to get on your journey, working on your testimony, the healing journey that I'm on always is waiting for you. Wait for them. Know who you are. It's inevitable. As long as breath is in my body, you got to find me.
Yeah.
You got to find me. When I told your father that I was leaving, he said, I guess one of the ploys was, because particularly you all was miracles, and even if you wasn't, it still would have been a ploy, that I'm going to take him away from you. The warrior woman looked at him. I remember to this day, I was ironing the clothes. I could have did a good times and took the cord off and burnt his ass. But no, the warrior woman looked at him and said, you don't have to take him. I'll give him to you. And you know why? Because I carried him in my womb. And they know my voice. They know my sound. And if I never see them another day in my life, they're going to come looking for me. Because you always look for the mother. It's okay to know the father, but you're going to search for the mother. See, that's how you got to think as a warrior woman. You see what I'm saying? Ask me, how long did he have you?
I can't remember.
But at the end of the day, you can't be afraid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't let fear grip your heart. Whether they don't talk to you, whether they don't call you, know, y'all know my saying for those who've been around, know who you are. And I might not know all about me, but one thing that I do know, I felt those labor pains. I know I was on that table. I know them contractions was hurting like hell. I know I had to push you out, and I could have locked my legs, but I had to go through that process. The same way it is naturally is the same way it is spiritually. And at the end of the day, they cut the umbilical cord from my womb. And God assigned you to me. Now, how you deal with it, how y'all take it, how your children take it, you got to stand in that I just explained. Because you don't even remember that day, do you?
No.
They don't remember, but you remember. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I can't simplify it no more. That's all that matters. And if you don't, I remember even as you was going through your process one time when you didn't even think that you needed healing. I told you, I don't know if you remember, I said, go watch the movie Imitations of Life. Remember that?
You always tell me that.
Go watch Imitations of Life. And that daughter thought she was better than the mother. But when her mother died, she come running after the casket. If that's what it takes, I'll never bow down to who I am. Because just like that black woman was working to take care of her daughter that looked like she was white, she still had to come running after that casket. Mama, you better believe if they ain't calling you right now, say thank you, Lord, they're giving you a break. That's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Giving you a break. And when you get that type of security, they'll be calling you before you know it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And then they're going to want something. So that's a different story, like you were saying. Are you really prepared?
Yeah.
Because if you gave them cars and houses and paid their credit cards off and you did all that, are you ready for the comeback? Because if they wanted it then, they want something now. Anytime they call you, predominantly, they want something. Adult children.
Yeah.
Adult children.
Yeah. And that,
let me say it again, adult children.
but that's why, I think even at Healing for My Soul Live, how we're coming together, for, our children, our legacy, releasing our roar, restoring our roar. And so, I know that we have touched upon so many different dynamics. I know we probably brought up a lot of stuff. I kind of feel like this episode needs to be watched again, because you need to find yourself. It's kind of like we said at the beginning,
your way in
that
somewhere.
double dutch. You need to find your way in how we navigated this.
Because it's not black and white.
Because it isn't black
It's
or
not
white.
black. It's not.
And we just opened up a little bit of the wounds, opened up a little bit of the door. But this is why you got to stay connected. All right. So we thank you for watching this podcast. We thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, just like, comment, subscribe, stay connected, you all, on this journey, because there's more to come. But most importantly, just know that as a mother, okay, you are a warrior. You may not feel like it right now,
But you're a warrior
but
woman.
you're a warrior woman. And we are looking forward to seeing you as you roar, as you restore, as you continue to rise up to be the woman that God has called you to be. We love you, and we can't wait to see you on another episode.
Well, how do you feel, Mama? How do you feel listening that right now you still have breath in your body, which means that there is still a warrior cry that has to come out from the pits of your belly, from the spiritual womb that you have to be able to birth your children in the spirit. You birthed them in the natural, but now it is time for you to stand in who God has called you to be. And this is not the time to pacify. This is the time for you to allow your legacy to see the miraculous dunamis power of God that lives on the inside of you. You're getting built up. You're getting equipped. And I love to see the outcome. So stay with us next week as we continue to hit another wound. But most importantly, we're going to help you heal that wound. I can't wait to see you, and invite another woman to watch this, especially a mother who is fighting for her legacy.